Hello and welcome to Open Awards. I'm John Duffy and I'm joined today by Daryl Bate from the Marine Cadets. We're here today to talk about Maritime May and, yes, you've guessed it, everything that we do revolving around the wonderful world of maritime. So welcome, Daryl. How are you?
I'm fine. Hello, John. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, you too. So first off, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself
Yeah.
and the centre and what you do there, please.
My role here at the Marine Society is as director of maritime training and development. Um, I actually have a maritime background. I'm a seafarer myself. Served at sea with Cunard as deck officer. And then came ashore in the 80s as a result of the flagging out process back in the day. Found myself ashore in working in ship operations, and then trained in shipbroking and worked in chartering and brokering for a few years. And then sort of morphed across into education and training. So I spent the last 20 plus years in further education and apprenticeship training providers and colleges. So and then in the last 2 years, an opportunity came up at the Marine Society to move across and to sort of head up a strategic change and develop their curriculum particularly. And they'd just come out of a difficult Ofsted period, and it was really about getting the Marine Society College, as it was known, to sort of adapt them to the new kind of
Yeah.
landscape of maritime curriculum, developed maritime curriculum, which, as you know, John, there's very little. There's not a lot out there, and so with my background in education, also my maritime understanding, I think there's combined very well in this role, which I'm really enjoying.
Excellent.
And you say, sorry, I just say on the centre. I mean, Marine
Yeah.
Society, we are as you rightly say, we're an open awards centre. And a college with an ESFA contract for adult education and also for apprenticeship training and traineeships. So we have those government funded contracts in place. And we used to run A levels and GCSE through distance learning. But one of the things through our restructure and new strategy was that they weren't a viable option. The numbers had declined over year on year. In terms of the need for those qualifications at sea for seafarers and the Royal Navy ratings, and also they weren't funded, so that was quite a key driver as well. So we've dropped those for the time being, and now focusing on these new qualifications. So.
Excellent. So we've been working together with the Marine Society for since 2013, I believe. So we've been quite got quite a nice lengthy relationship there. So just from your personal experience, how have you found working with Open Awards and our maritime qualifications?
So I mean, I'm familiar with many awarding organisations from my background, all the big ones,
Yeah.
And actually working with a kind of a niche provider like yourselves has been really refreshing and rewarding, and especially in recent months, having actually worked on the development of a brand new qualification, rewriting of that, taking it right through the QA processes, scrutiny, and actually seeing it published. Seeing that end-to-end process is something I didn't really get the opportunity to do in a large college, but it's been really great working with specifically Julie, if I'm allowed to name drop.
Yeah, that's right.
And her colleagues. I mean, everyone there. It's being a small team. We get to know each other well, and they've been very supportive in the amount of time they've devoted to spending with us, literally holding fortnightly meetings with my team, just to talk through kind of all those sort of teething issues that you get as a centre. So no, really enjoyed that process, and obviously it's ongoing. We're probably in the early stages of where we want to be.
Excellent. That's great to hear. I'm involved in that process as well, with the kind of designing of the qualification guide itself and how it will look. So it's been a really kind of, as you said, really kind of great collaborative and rewarding experience. So that's really good. So obviously, we're kind of tentatively coming out of restrictions and out of lockdown. So where do you see kind of the maritime sector heading, kind of post pandemic, post lockdown rather?
Wow, that's a glass ball question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was watching a seminar the other day of Maritime UK called Build Back Better, and various people asking that very same question. I think we all agree that maritime's on the verge of doubling in size by 2050, and the skills need is a massive area of need that the 2050 strategy the government put out has rightly identified, and that's why we have the Maritime Skills Commission in place, to tasked with just identifying, developing what the skill needs of the sector, both shore side and sea going as well. So it's really, yes, where are we going to be in this new norm? I mean, the opportunities are I think exponential, with whether it's through port growth, whether it's the decarbonisation, the green energy agenda, as it relates to maritime, offshore, all of those sectors. I think people are looking around saying, well, have we got the curriculum, have we got the skills that are going to be needed in 5-10 years to for the jobs that are going to be needed, and in many cases they just simply aren't there. I mean, we're just looking at a very small little part of that. So if you just look at the ports, the port side, they don't have typically not had formal qualifications, so people working, they kind of fall into that sector from other jobs or other backgrounds, like maybe business admin or something. They maybe end up working in a port office, but they don't know anything about maritime. They don't have any introduction to what it's all about, and so they have to kind of learn on the job. So employers, I think, are looking more and more for a pipeline of potential employees who have got certainly up to a level 3 qualification that gives them basics, and also helps them make informed choices about, do they even want to work in the sector? Because, as I say, I think most people find themselves just in it by chance, or by some family connection or something of that nature, rather than it being an informed career choice from school and college upwards. So there's a big space and a gap to use, to plug. I think we've made that a little start in that with a course we've just developed, but certainly more to do.
Yeah. So there is kind of exciting times ahead. As one thing that we've learned is like how kind of reliant we are on logistics and kind of transport logistics and seafaring logistics. So there's plenty of work to be done. So my next question is so for a young person looking to get into the kind of seafaring and the maritime sector, what would be your advice for them to leaving school, or even in school? What could they do to kind of direct them in the right direction?
Wow, I mean, I think you have to separate the seagoing from the shore going aspect. They are so uniquely different.
Yeah, of course.
And there's obviously a very tried and tested and embedded process for cadetships, for people going into the training officers in the Merchant Navy. So I think that's already well in place. I don't think that needs checking on. But I think what would I say to them? Well, I would say look at the vast opportunities and the range of skills and different areas that you can work in with that are all maritime related, and just sort of see it as a viable option, as against some of the more the more standard fare that you get in a college curriculum offer, for example. So it's just that maritime doesn't feature alongside, I don't know, aviation or rail or automotive in the same way, and yet it is a bigger sector, and that just sort of strikes me as just unfair on young people, to give them the whole range of opportunities that are there. It's probably because maritime is so kind of eclectic and split up into lots of little mini sectors within that. It comes under this collective umbrella. So it's quite hard. If someone defines maritime, you get a whole different set of, interpretations of what maritime actually is. But collectively, it is all these elements that relate to our trade, as you say, via sea, and then onwards through logistics. Ashore, and so on, so all supporting the economy. Look, I think there's a real drive now on the careers agenda. I think all I would say is okay, as we increase the careers information and guidance to our young people, we still need to then put in place something that they can then tangibly do. Otherwise, we're just telling them about something, but then we're not giving them progression routes and saying, well, how do I get into that? I mean, I know, for example, you're working on the an access course, coming up, which will be tremendous for adults who want to progress into higher education and study at degree level in maritime and logistics. So that again, that's identified a gap in the qualification structure there. We're more focused on sort of level 1 to 3, but also we as a charity we have thousands of volunteers and tens of thousands of sea cadets, and there are opportunities there. We're running some courses that Open Awards offer to support our volunteers as well. So not just maritime. There are other opportunities that we offer as a centre to our wider charity colleagues.
Excellent. So how would so someone's kind of, they're interested in maritime, they're working their way towards it. How would they get involved with your centre?
So well, we what we would do is work in partnership with a college, a provider, an academy, a school, as the maritime specialist. So whether it's coming in and delivering the course for them, helping them identify what they need. So that's so rather than coming to us directly, I mean, they can come to us and we can signpost them, but ideally, they're likely to be in their local setting or their local institution. And we're reaching out through partnerships, through groups like the Careers Colleges Trust and so on, to get the message in and then come in and work with them to sort of pump prime or kickstart a maritime program or a pathway. So they would come into contact us, indirectly that way, if that makes sense. We're not a big organization, where we're offering direct courses, in premises or whatever. We do this through collaboration and partnership with the sector, the post-16 sector.
Awesome. Well, that's all kind of we've got time for today. But it was really interesting talking to you, and great to find out about the centre and how you can get involved with it. Is there anything you'd like to add before we leave?
Well, I think it's a great initiative, Maritime May.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think Open Awards, I mean, we need more. We need to grow that more. But we've got a great working relationship and partnership. As I say, I do appreciate the team there and all the focus that they're giving, and particularly on maritime. I think you're kind of leaders in that area as far as I can tell. So do keep up that great work you're doing.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'll pass on those kind words. So that just leaves me to say thank you once again for your time. Really interesting stuff. So I'd like to say thanks once again, and take care.
Cheers. Thanks, Phil.